walk into your own home thinking it's your safe space. But what if I told you that someone has already stepped in and planted seeds of destruction right under your nose? You feel tired, angry for no reason. Your dreams keep getting blocked, and you don't understand why. It's not random. There are objects hidden in your home right now, placed there to destroy you, your peace, your success, your relationships. And until you remove them, you will keep losing without knowing why. Today, I'm going to show you what they are, and how to eliminate them before they eliminate you. We live in a world that is dominated not just by physical things, but by energy. Every single thing around you carries a vibration, whether you believe in it or not. And the problem is, most people are completely unaware of just how dangerous certain objects can be when they are placed in your home with evil intent. You walk into your living space thinking you're safe, thinking you've closed the door on the chaos outside, but some people have mastered the art of bringing darkness right to your doorstep without ever raising their voice. They use objects as carriers of poison, as containers for negative energy, cursed energy, and they hide them in places you never even looked twice at. And because most people are asleep spiritually, they can't even detect why they feel drained, why they suddenly feel irritable, why they feel like something is off even when life looks normal on the outside. What you must understand is that everything carries a frequency. All those strange little things left behind by certain people, a small gift, a weird sculpture, a random trinket that doesn't belong in your house, they are not always innocent. If someone has bad intentions toward you, they don't always confront you face to face. Some of them will smile, shake your hand, and at the same time place a spiritually contaminated object inside your home. And the moment that cursed item sits there, it begins to do its work. It drains your energy silently, like a parasite that feeds on your mental clarity and inner peace. You start snapping at your loved ones for no reason. You wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. Money stops flowing, opportunities disappear, and you think it's just bad luck. It's not bad luck, it's an energy trap. Some people laugh at this because they only believe what they can see. But look at your life right now. Look at the mood in your house. Look at how every time you try to move forward, something always pulls you back. It's not always coincidence. Sometimes it is a direct attack. And the way they attack you is by targeting your environment, your sacred space. The enemy understands that if they can disturb the energy of your home, they can disturb the energy of your mind. You live there, you breathe that air, you spend hours surrounded by those vibrations, and slowly it gets inside you. It clouds your judgment, it kills your motivation. You don't even recognize yourself anymore. The trap is that these objects are not screaming, they don't glow red, they look normal, even decorative, but spiritually, they are carrying something like poison. That's why it's so important to become aware that not everything in your home is meant to be there. Some of these objects were placed there for one goal: to break you, to sabotage your joy, to make sure you don't have the energy to chase your goals anymore. And the moment you keep them in your space, you automatically step into a battlefield without knowing it. Sometimes, you walk into a room and suddenly feel anxious for no reason. You can't focus, your mind is restless. Some people experience back-to-back arguments in their house. They keep fighting over useless issues. The energy feels heavy, thick, almost suffocating, and they never question why. They just think they are stressed or maybe tired. But it's deeper. The object becomes the source of spiritual contamination. One single item, placed with intention, can corrupt the atmosphere of an entire home. And most people never suspect it because it's just a gift, a decoration, a small thing someone gave you. You don't realize that the moment you accepted it, you also accepted everything attached to it. This is why awareness is everything. The first step in protecting your life is recognizing what is in your environment. You can't walk through life blind. You need to pay attention. Ask yourself, who put this here? When did this arrive in my home? How did I start feeling after that object entered my space? It might sound extreme, but your spiritual survival depends on you asking these questions. Because some people don't want to fight you with words. They want to weaken you from the inside out. They want you confused. They want you powerless. And once you're drained enough, you don't even have the strength to fight back. You must begin to see that your home is either a fortress or a trap. If you allow these cursed objects to remain, you give the enemy permission to keep attacking you without resistance. But if you wake up and remove them, immediately the energy shifts. You feel lighter, you feel more awake, you feel motivated again, because you've finally taken back control of your space. It's not about being superstitious. It's about being spiritually intelligent. And the moment you become aware of these traps, you become immune to them. You no longer become an easy target. So start looking closely. Don't let sentimental attachments blind you to the fact that some of these items were never meant for you. Love yourself enough to protect your space like your life depends on it. Because it does. If your energy is gone, your dreams are dead. If your peace is gone, your joy is gone. And the people who put these objects near you know that. They don't care about hurting you. They only care about seeing you fail. Don't let them succeed. The first step is recognition. The second step is removal. And once you take that step, you start to notice that all the fog begins to lift. You can breathe again. You finally feel like yourself again. You know deep down that something in your home doesn't belong. Listen to that feeling. Trust that instinct. Remove the poison. Reclaim your space. Reclaim your peace. Reclaim your life. That is how you begin to win. Some people think that when someone dislikes them, they'll see obvious hostility or hear words spoken out loud. They're waiting for a visible sign, a fight, a confrontation. But this is why most people lose the battle before it even begins. Because they don't understand that the real enemy is silent. The real enemy doesn't always shout at you. They operate quietly, in the shadows, with a smile on their face. They greet you politely. They may even pretend to help you. But behind their actions there is a deep intention to cause harm. And when they've decided to harm you, they might not use violence or insults. They use the things you don't suspect: energy, objects, symbols, and silence. They fight you spiritually, they fight you psychologically, and you end up feeling defeated without ever seeing the weapons being used against you. That's why I said earlier, this is a silent war on your peace, and you need to wake up to that fact. Because when the enemy can attack you without being seen, they hold all the power. These objects they're placing around you are not just random items. They are tools of spiritual warfare. They are designed to bring chaos into your home, confusion into your mind, and conflict into your relationships. They are placed there to destabilize everything around you, so you lose balance, so you lose direction. You don't notice it at first. It happens slowly, day by day. Suddenly, you and the people you love are arguing more often. Suddenly, you feel irritated even when nothing bad happened. Suddenly, plans fall apart at the last moment. These are not random events. This is what happens when someone starts a silent war on your peace. And because it's silent, because there's no obvious confrontation, you don't have a direct enemy to point at. You start blaming yourself, or you blame the people around you, or you think life is just unfair. You don't realize there's a deeper, invisible hand behind all the negativity. And that's how the enemy wins, by remaining unseen. They choose to hide behind objects, behind gifts, behind innocent-looking things. They pretend it's kindness. They pretend it's generosity. But the entire purpose is destruction. If someone wanted to ruin your life openly, you would be ready to defend yourself. But when they do it secretly, they use the element of surprise against you. And that's why you need to become spiritually aware. You must stop waiting for obvious signs, because the most dangerous attacks in life are usually silent. It could be a piece of jewelry gifted to you by a jealous person. It could be a statue placed in your living room that carries a curse. It could be a small item left near your doorstep by someone who pretended to care. Once those objects enter your space, they begin to work like poison. You can't see it, but you feel it. You feel yourself getting more negative every day. You feel yourself losing motivation. You feel relationships start to break. And you wonder, what's going on with me? You think it's stress or a lack of discipline. You start doubting yourself. That is exactly how the enemy wants you to react. Because while you're busy blaming yourself, they continue to wage war on you in silence. There's a reason I always say, never underestimate the power of a hidden enemy. The one who attacks you openly is not as dangerous as the one who smiles at you but brings darkness into your home. They don't want to be seen. They want to be felt. Felt through suffering, through confusion, through spiritual heaviness. And if you don't open your eyes to this pattern, you'll stay trapped in that cycle for years. That's why some people feel stuck, even when they're working hard, even when they're trying to be positive. It's because the atmosphere around them has been poisoned. And as long as you live inside that poisoned energy, it doesn't matter how strong you are mentally. The spiritual attack will eventually drain you. This is not superstition, this is reality. People have used spiritual objects to harm others for centuries. They call it different names in different cultures, but the effect is always the same: destroy someone's peace without touching them physically. Make them suffer in silence. Make them argue with people they love. Make them sabotage their own life because they think they are the problem. That is the cruelty of this kind of warfare. The enemy doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to threaten. They just need to plant an object, and they let the object do the work. You need to protect yourself by becoming aware of this. Stop assuming that every gift is a blessing. Stop assuming that every item in your home is harmless. Start learning to read the energy behind things. Start paying attention to how you feel after certain people visit you or after certain objects enter your home. Reflect on how the atmosphere in your house changes, because awareness is the first step to ending this silent war. Once you start recognizing these invisible attacks, you can start removing the access points. You can cleanse your space. You can take back your power. You can no longer be manipulated through invisible weapons. And I'm saying this because once you finally understand that not every attack is loud, you become dangerous in a good way. You become someone who cannot be fooled easily. You become someone who sees behind the mask, someone who senses the intention before the action. You can't be controlled by gifts. You cannot be distracted by fake kindness. And that's exactly what you need if you want to live in peace. It's not just about removing the objects. It's about knowing how to see through the silence, how to sense the hidden enemy disguised as a friend. Once you understand that the real attack is happening in the invisible realm, you will know how to protect not just your home, but your mind, your heart, and your future. Because the ones who attack you quietly fear only one thing: your awareness. The moment you wake up and recognize the silent war on your peace, you become untouchable. Every environment has a vibration. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it with your body, your mind, your spirit. When your home becomes contaminated with negative energy, your body reacts, your spirit reacts. Your mood changes without explanation. People ignore these signals. They think it's just stress from work, maybe bad weather, maybe just one of those days. But when those days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, you need to question what is really happening in your space. Because your spirit doesn't lie. If something has been placed in your home to disturb your peace, your inner system will try to alert you. But you must be awake enough to recognize those signs. One of the first signs is restlessness. You lie down to sleep, but you can't find peace. Your eyes are closed, but your soul is awake, uneasy. Your mind keeps spinning even when your body is exhausted. It's like something is unsettled in the atmosphere. You toss and turn, trying to find comfort, but you wake up tired, more tired than the night before. You think maybe you need a new pillow, or maybe you're working too hard. But what changed? Go back in your memory. What entered your home? What was placed near your bed? What gift did you accept without thinking? That restlessness is not random. Something inside that space is rejecting your peace. It does not belong there. So your energy cannot relax in its presence. Another sign is sudden emotional imbalance. One day you're fine, the next day you're filled with unexplained rage, sadness, anxiety. It's not tied to a specific event. You didn't receive bad news, but you still feel heavy, angry for no reason. That's because certain objects carry frequencies that affect emotions directly. You may not see it, but it's working on you. It amplifies negativity. It pulls you down. You wake up already overwhelmed. You look around, but you can't figure out why everything feels so heavy. It's the environment. The vibration has been poisoned. And until you remove that source, your emotions will keep fluctuating in a way that doesn't make sense. People begin to fight more in a contaminated home. Small issues turn into big arguments. There's more shouting, more frustration, more cold silence between people who used to love each other. You might blame stress, blame work, blame each other. But nobody stops to think, why did the atmosphere become so hostile? Why is everyone irritated around each other? You love them, but the energy between you has been corrupted. That's what a cursed object does. It divides, it creates conflict, it plants chaos in the heart of the home. You can't see it, but it's doing its job, silently breaking unity, breaking peace. Sometimes it even shows up as physical sickness. Headaches that come out of nowhere, sudden fatigue, feeling drained even when you haven't done anything exhausting. You go to the doctor and they say you're healthy, yet you feel weak, clouded, lacking life. That's what happens when your own home becomes a source of energetic drainage. You are being pulled down every day. Your health suffers, your motivation disappears, your goals start slipping away. And you keep asking, what's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Something is wrong with your environment. There is something in your space that is not supposed to be there. And it is feeding on your energy every moment you allow it to stay. You also notice that blessings start to block. Money slows down, opportunities vanish. You feel like you're working hard but nothing is moving forward. It feels like every door closes right before you step through it. That is another sign: spiritual blockage. If someone wants to ruin your life, they don't need to touch your bank account. They just need to place a cursed object in your house, and it creates a barrier around your progress. No matter how skilled or talented you are, you feel stuck. That lack of progress is a sign, and if you ignore it, it becomes worse. Because the longer that object sits there, the stronger its influence becomes. It spreads like a disease across your life, affecting your career, your happiness, your relationships, everything. People will say it's coincidence. But deep down, you know when something shifted. You might not want to believe it, but your body and spirit feel it. Your intuition feels it. You walk into a room and you instantly feel uncomfortable. You can't explain why. The energy feels strange. That is a sign, because your spirit senses what your logical mind cannot. And if you continue to ignore these signs, you end up living in a house that drains you instead of heals you. That is why awareness is power. You have to listen to your restlessness, your sudden mood swings, your fatigue, your arguments, your blocked blessings. All of those things are symptoms. They are the alarm ringing in your life, telling you to wake up, pay attention, and cleanse your space. The signs are always there before the destruction becomes permanent. You just have to respect them. If you continue to ignore them, the object wins. The energy wins. Your enemy wins. Don't allow that. When you recognize these signs, you need to act. Remove what doesn't belong. Purify your home, your atmosphere, your life. Because your spirit is trying to save you, but you must be willing to listen. Nothing around you is random. If the energy in your home has started to feel heavy, that is your sign to protect your space and protect your peace before it's too late. There are moments in life when you must understand that hesitation is dangerous. When you realize something is poisoning your space, the worst thing you can do is delay taking action. Because the longer a negative force stays in your environment, the deeper its roots grow into your life. Some people make the mistake of thinking, "I'll deal with it later." But that later never comes. And day by day, their peace declines even more. They think it's small, just an object, just a feeling. But what they don't understand is that spiritual contamination multiplies over time. You give it one day, it takes a week. You give it a week, it takes a month. You give it a month, it destroys a year. Everything you allow stays, and everything that stays begins to influence you without mercy. If a cursed object is sitting in your home, it is not waiting for your permission to destroy you. It's already doing its work every second you allow it to stay. Every minute you delay its removal, the energy becomes more aggressive. First, it attacks your mood. Then it disrupts your sleep. Then it affects your confidence, your decisions, your goals. And by the time you realize the full damage, you've already lost valuable time. The opportunities you could have taken have passed. The relationships you could have preserved have been broken. And then you look back and regret not moving faster when you felt that first warning. That's why action is crucial. The moment you sense that something is wrong, you must act without delay. Your spiritual safety is not something to play with. You don't negotiate with darkness. You remove it immediately. Delay is the enemy's greatest advantage, because the longer you allow the object to remain, the more comfortable it becomes in your space. You get used to feeling tired. You get used to living with tension. You get used to chaos. And once you become used to it, you stop questioning it. You normalize your misery. That's the danger. Because you will never fight what you've accepted as normal. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. For you to become numb. For you to stop resisting. For you to just blame life and keep living in that poisoned energy until all your dreams fade away. That is why you must act, not tomorrow, now. Some people pray for peace but refuse to remove the very thing destroying their peace. They pray for success while living in an atmosphere that blocks success. You can't pray for change and keep what is poisoning you. You must be willing to cut it out, throw it away, burn it, break it, get rid of it, whatever it takes. Don't be sentimental about it. Don't keep it because it looks nice, or because someone you know gave it to you. If your spirit tells you it's wrong, it's wrong. You owe no one an explanation when it comes to protecting your life. You don't wait for approval. You don't wait for proof. Energy is felt before it is proven. And you must have the courage to act on what you feel before the damage becomes irreversible. Your future depends on the actions you take now. If you remove the object, you open the door for peace, clarity, focus, and blessings to return. You make space for healing, you make space for success. But if you leave it, you allow your enemy to continue controlling your atmosphere. You give them power without even realizing it. Every time you feel that heavy energy in your home, understand that it is feeding on your attention. It wants you to stay distracted, tired, and defeated so you never have the strength to reach your potential. And if you don't wake up and act, you might waste years fighting battles that would have ended the moment you had removed that cursed object. There is a reason people suddenly experience breakthrough the moment they cleanse their environment. It's because that spiritual blockage is finally gone. They start sleeping better. Their mind becomes clearer. They feel more motivated. They feel more grateful and alive. Doors that were closed suddenly open. It's not magic. It's the result of removing interference. The negative frequency was interfering with everything. And once it's gone, life flows again. That's why I keep repeating, act immediately. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't keep thinking about it. Take the step. Remove everything that feels wrong. Don't let the enemy steal another minute of your peace. Some people hear this and still say, but what if I'm wrong? What if the object is harmless? Ask yourself this, what if you're right? What if that one item is the reason your spirit feels heavy every day? Are you willing to risk your future just to keep something that might be destroying you? You must choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose your clarity. Act. Because the longer you delay, the deeper it controls your life. There is a level of protection that only comes after you take action. You can realize the truth. You can become aware, but until you do something about it, nothing changes. Only action breaks the cycle. Only action removes the power of the object. Only action opens the door to restoration. That's why everything inside you must move immediately once you sense that something has invaded your space. Because that urgency is wisdom. That urgency is protection. Listen to it. Follow it. Remove the poison before it becomes stronger than your will to fight. Let today be the moment you stop allowing any object, any energy, any hidden enemy to occupy your space. Once you decide to act and remove what does not belong, you reclaim time, spirit, destiny, peace. And that is a price worth paying for the life you deserve. Remove it now before it removes you. There is a shift that happens the moment you decide to cleanse your space. You may not even realize how heavy everything felt until that heaviness is gone. Once you remove the contaminated object, something begins to change almost instantly. It's like the air becomes lighter, the tension loosens, and for the first time in a long while, you can actually breathe. You won't fully understand how much power those objects had over your life until you see what happens when they're gone. That fog in your mind starts to lift, directions become clearer, and suddenly you find yourself thinking, this is how peace is supposed to feel. Because the negativity that was lingering around you is no longer choking your spirit. This is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. When your environment changes, your mind changes. You start waking up in the morning with more clarity, more gratitude. Your thoughts are sharper. Your emotions are stable again. You feel grounded. And what used to feel like a heavy burden on your chest begins to disappear. You're not snapping at people for no reason anymore. You're not drowning in depression when there's no logical explanation. You're not dragging yourself through each day with no energy left. You can actually focus again. You can actually smile and mean it. This is the natural result of cleansing your space. And it proves that what you allow in your environment has a direct effect on every part of your life. People think healing is some complicated process, but sometimes it starts with something as simple as removing what doesn't belong in your space. Because those objects were not just pieces of material. They carried intention, they carried darkness, they carried a spiritual assignment. Once you remove them, you cut off the source of that energy, and when the source is gone, all the damage it created begins to lose its power. You notice your home feels different, more calm, more welcoming. You actually like being there again. You feel inspired to work on your goals. You feel more hopeful about your future, because your spirit is finally free to breathe again. And it's not just about peace. Your life begins to move again. Blessings that were blocked start finding their way back to you. Suddenly, people who once ignored you begin contacting you with opportunities. Money flows again. New doors open. Your momentum returns, because your environment is now in harmony with your spirit. Before, that cursed object was creating resistance against everything good trying to reach you. It was like trying to run with chains on your legs. But once it's gone, You can run freely. You can move toward your destiny without weight pulling you down. That's why removing these objects is not just a physical act. It's a spiritual breakthrough. It's you saying, I refuse to live under this dark cloud any longer. Some people underestimate how important their environment is to their success and peace. They keep trying to push forward while living in a place that's spiritually pulling them backward. But once you experience the difference, you'll never allow that to happen again. You'll guard your space. You'll be very selective about what enters your home, because you've tasted clarity, you've tasted peace, and you don't want to lose it again. It's not that life becomes perfect, but now you are strong, you are focused, you are aligned, you have energy again, you have insight again. And you realize the only reason you felt so weak before was because you were living in an atmosphere that was designed to keep you weak. This is how you begin reclaiming your life, by cleansing your space so that it supports you, not breaks you. And once you experience that freedom, you start understanding how powerful and valuable your energy truly is. You stop accepting random objects from people. You stop letting others bring their chaos into your home. You stop treating your space like a storage room for other people's energies. Instead, you treat it like a sacred place, a place where you grow, where you rest, where you heal, where you rise. Because that's what your home is supposed to be. A place that helps you become a stronger version of yourself, not a prison that drains you. And do you know what happens then? Your spirit becomes more sensitive. You start discerning things before they even manifest. You can feel when something is wrong. You can feel when someone's intention is not clean. You protect your space like a warrior, because now you know that peace is priceless. Now you know that energy is everything. Now you know that allowing just one cursed object in your space can destroy everything you worked for. So you become wise, you become strong, you become disciplined, and that discipline protects everything you love. I tell you this because I've seen people lose themselves completely due to a single object placed in their home. And I've also seen people rebuild their entire life the moment they removed it. The contrast is undeniable. So if you feel that sudden shift after removing something, do not ignore it. That feeling of lightness is not a coincidence. It is evidence that your spirit is finally free from a chain that was holding you down. And now you have the chance to move forward with clarity and power. Removing the object is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the moment your real life starts moving again. And from that moment forward, you will never doubt the importance of your space again. You will guard it. You will honor it. And you will protect your peace like your future depends on it. Because it does. Once you cleanse your space, you cleanse your life. And nothing will ever feel the same again. When you realize what these cursed objects can do, and you finally clear them out of your space, there is one last step you cannot ignore. You must protect yourself so that it never happens again. Because it's not enough to simply remove what is harming you. You also need to make sure it can't return. Just like you wouldn't leave your front door open after removing a thief from your house, you cannot leave your spiritual doors open after clearing negative energy. If someone has attacked you once, they might try again. If you have been an easy target before, they will look for another opportunity. And this time you need to be prepared. This is where protection becomes a daily practice, not a one-time reaction. That protection starts with awareness. When you become aware of what certain objects can do, you no longer receive anything blindly. You question what enters your home. You pay attention to how things make you feel. If something feels off, you don't ignore it. If someone gives you something and you feel strange energy attached to it, you don't keep it just to be polite. Because protection means putting your peace above people's expectations. It means valuing your energy more than a gift or a friendship that drains you. You stop letting people have access to your space so easily. You create boundaries. You say no, and that alone builds a shield around your life. But protection also means strengthening your own inner energy so that even if someone tries to attack you spiritually, it can't penetrate. You do this by being consistent with positive habits, prayer, meditation, cleansing rituals, even something as simple as keeping your home clean and intentional. Your home should be a place of light, not a dumping ground for random objects. When your environment is cared for, organized, and filled with intention, it becomes difficult for negative energy to stick around. It's like having a strong immune system. The more disciplined you are spiritually, the harder it is for dark forces to enter. You become someone who radiates strength from the inside out, and even if someone tries to bring you down, Their attempts bounce back because your energy is too strong to be infected. Another part of protection is being careful about who you allow into your space. Just because someone smiles at you doesn't mean their spirit is clean. Some people carry darkness with them wherever they go. And the moment they walk into your home, they leave a trace of that energy behind. So be discerning. Not everyone deserves to cross your door. You can be kind but firm. You can greet them outside. You can meet them somewhere else. But don't let everyone have access to where you rest, where you plan your future, where you heal. That space must be sacred. When you honor it, when you protect it, it protects you in return. Protection also means being spiritually proactive, not reactive. You don't wait for another cursed object to show up. You consistently cleanse your home. You use words of power. You keep symbols of protection around you, not decorative, but intentional. You are not living in fear. You are living in awareness. The difference is this. Fear makes you paranoid. Awareness makes you powerful. You're not afraid of anyone, but you're not naive either. You stay ready. You stay guarded. And because of that spiritual discipline, anything dark that tries to come your way loses its power immediately. It cannot find a place to land, because you're no longer open to that frequency. You're too aware, too protected, too grounded. And what happens over time is extraordinary. People who used to try to harm you spiritually will stop. They will sense that your space is protected. They will feel that there is a barrier around your life they cannot cross. Some will call it luck, but it's not luck. It's spiritual strength. It's the wisdom you gained from the pain you went through. It's the boundaries you set. It's the energy of a warrior who refuses to be a victim again. And that power becomes visible to others, even if they can't explain it. They simply feel it. They feel that you are not the same. They feel that whatever they try to plant in your life will not grow. That is when you truly win. Not just when you remove the darkness once, but when you become someone who cannot be easily touched by darkness again. And that is what I want for you. I want you to walk into your own home and feel safe, feel alive, feel inspired. I want you to wake up each day knowing that your space is a fortress, not a battlefield. That even if the world outside is chaotic, you have a sanctuary where nothing unclean can enter. This is not just about keeping objects out. It's about building a new life where no one can manipulate your energy, where no one can destroy your peace from the shadows, where you are stronger than any silent attack. So yes, remove the cursed objects, cleanse your space, feel the difference, but don't stop there. Build a shield, guard your home like your life depends on it. Refuse to let darkness return. Make protection a daily practice. Because peace is not something you find once, it's something you guard every single day of your life. This is how you live untouchable.